Good morning, everyone. My name is Angela Alban. My company's name is SIMETRI. So we are located here in Central Florida. I am actually a UCF alum and started the company in 2009. Our vision is to shape the future by delivering innovative products and services that exceed expectations, while also collaborating with partners and conducting business ethically and equitably. And it took me a long time to come up with that, and there are a lot of reasons why I wanted to put all of that in our vision. But those are really the foundational principles and values that are important to me personally and also to all of our team. So we are actually on University Boulevard near Costco, if you know that, the intersection with Forsyth. We are woman-owned and minority-owned because the company is entirely owned by me. We have folks here in Central Florida, in San Antonio, Texas, Vicksburg, Mississippi, and then most recently, we have employed 2 folks in Kentucky as well, who will be stationed at Fort Campbell. Total, our employee count is 45 today. We have 27 folks in Florida, 6 are in Texas, 10 are in Mississippi, and 2 are in Kentucky. Our staff is very diverse for different reasons. We do a lot of different types of work, but primarily it's all based on the development of new technologies and capabilities that will improve or enhance the experience of the warfighter, and with the hope and aim of transitioning that technology and those capabilities to the civilian sector as well. So we've got engineers, we've got chemists doing work for the Army Corps of Engineers in Vicksburg. We've got special effects artists that help us create some of the forms that you'll see in some of the slides I will show you. We have physician's assistants that are doing pre-deployment training, along with Green Beret medics, which are called 18 Deltas in our world. And then from time to time, we have anywhere between 3 to 5 interns. Right now that summer is kind of winding down, we are down, I believe, to 3. They come to us typically, honestly, from UCF and from the local community. Very great experience for us. 2 of the aspiring physicians that had come to us while they were students at UCF as interns to help with anatomy and some of the medical research are now at Vanderbilt and at the Osteopathic College of Medicine in Dothan, Alabama. So 2 great relationships with 2 amazing young ladies. We have 11 of our folks are veterans, which is great. We have 9 folks that have PhDs. And then we have 12 folks that have a master's, and my brother has a JD and he does our contracts. So that's why that's there. Most importantly, though, especially for this group, is that we have 6 UCF graduates, including myself and some of our key engineering staff. Certainly out of the folks that are here in Central Florida, the majority of us are Knights, but as you know, we're in different locations and we have folks from different places, just not as cool as UCF. We work with and partner with and work for organizations across the gamut, pretty much anything that makes sense for us in order to innovate, to create something new, to improve upon, or to invent a different way, a new way that's going to improve the life of the trainee, really, and in the end, that person's experience in their profession. And so we work with any of the smalls or larges, primarily throughout Central Florida, but some are located elsewhere. And then with different colleges and universities that either use our products or provide subject matter expertise. Do lots of work with UCF, enjoy that relationship, and I'll talk a little bit about how that relationship is also financially, I guess, also very beneficial to a small business like ours. And I wanted to especially share that because I want to encourage others looking to either start a business or that have a business to look inward towards the university. We have amazing access to talent, top talent, and with the number of students and the depth of resources now at UCF, it's a great opportunity that I don't think anyone should pass up. I should mention we do sell our products to different hospital systems as well as to the National Board of Medical Examiners and a couple of the key providers of existing mannequins and training devices. We are preparing someone, whether it be a first responder or warfighter, to survive and win while they are working. And this includes battlefield medicine and training for battlefield medicine, or unfortunately, some of that happens here within our city limits. As you remember, 5 years ago, Some of the tragedies that come across the screens are happening here day to day in our streets in the United States. And so preparing the first responder to also survive and win that fight is important for us. We focus a lot on the training device development and courseware development to improve the training materials and access to more modernized ways of teaching the same things that have been done for many years in less productive or effective methods, using less productive or effective methods. We have been working now, I think, for 4 years. We've got a team of network engineers that are working in modernizing the test networks across the DoD. And then we have, since the inception of the company, been doing material science research. Primarily, it was for the purposes of simulating human tissue. But now we've evolved that to looking at different types of 3D printers and materials that can be used either to simulate that anatomy or to create new components that are reusable and more affordable than what have been traditionally been available. A lot of what we do relies on system engineering and integration. I don't think with this group I have to go into a lot of detail, but what we do starts typically with some sort of an anatomical model or requirement for something like that. Then we start embedding mechanical and electrical components, as well as computational components that collect data from sensors that are embedded within these different parts and report it back to some sort of a display or visualization system, whether it be something for the instructor to see or some simple lights for the user to see that they've done something correctly or incorrectly. We're also developing courseware, like I mentioned, you see on the right there, just mobile type applications on different devices. And now working in the VR and AR space as well, embedded some of these models that we make with some of the virtual capability and bringing those best of breeds together to create a much more effective training device that's much more price competitive and easier, friendlier to use, and all of the things that I know the military is looking for. On the manufacturing side, we have the capability to do pretty much everything in-house. There are some items that we source elsewhere when it just isn't cost effective. I was just talking to a group about the 3D printers and how that over the years we've invested more and more in that. And that combined with the new materials available for those printers has allowed us to manufacture a lot of components in-house. We try to use commercially available components and parts so that we can reduce the cost and also the cost of sustainability of the items that we're preparing. And then of course we do a lot of the manufacturing of the anatomical models, which requires a significant amount of touch labor and artistic skill, which is where the special effects artists come in. An area that we're starting to evolve is the sophistication, if you will, or complexity of the molds that we create to create some of these body parts in order to optimize them for manufacturing and to make it easier for those to be manufactured by a lower skill set, thereby reducing the cost of production. So we've got lots of things going on. This summer's been very busy for us. A lot of these part task trainers that we've developed, it's not moving. Okay. A lot of the part task trainers that we've developed that are standalone part task trainers or models, we have proposed to adapt and integrate with an existing simulated human in the form of a mannequin that is already sophisticated enough, but we've taken off its limbs and put on SIMETRI's limbs, embedded sensors within our devices, created a custom board that collects data from those sensors and then communicates with the onboard software, all for training special operators. And it's creating the first of its type, a physical training center with 4 different mannequins that have been modified by SIMETRI that are commercially available, and we partner with that company often. But this is the first time that that's being done, and this summer has been very busy trying to get that done. So over the years, we started making some of the simulated wounds, some of the static anatomical models, if you will, and then now slowly over time with different, the evolution of the technology as well as the growth of our company and our capability in the engineering side, we're now making more complicated and more complex systems, which hopefully will continue to move us forward in that direction. So my connection to UCF is, it's pretty clear. I was raised in Central Florida. The only reason I chose not to go to UCF is because I wanted to leave home desperately leave home. So I went to Emory University and got a bachelor's of science in mathematics and computer science. Came home, found employment in Research Park, and then started going to UCF at that time to get my master's. Ironically, the graduate school that I wanted to go to in the end was back here at home and brought me back home to my parents. So I started doing that in parallel, but I must mention that UCF gave me a second chance, because when I left Emory, it was a long path at Emory to figure out what I wanted to do. I intended to go there to pursue a career in medicine. And that was definitely not for me for many reasons, least of which is the fact that I faint at the sight of blood. But the lifestyle didn't appeal to me, and the coursework was not something that I was really interested in, to be honest. It just wasn't something that appealed to me in the end. It took me a while, but I did finally graduate within the 4 years with a math and computer science degree. Exposure to computational systems and the power of that was something that I was just so excited about. And trying to find a grad school that would accept me with the GPA that I had when I left Emory was not easy. But UCF was willing to give me a chance, and under provisional status, I was able to get, I think, straight A's for the first 3 classes, and then continued to do well throughout my trajectory. That allowed me to stay in Central Florida and work in parallel in my profession, which has always been modeling, simulation, and training. And so by 2009, I started my own company, primarily with the desire to have the ability and the flexibility to raise my children the way that I wanted to be raised, and also to create a place of employment that was going to employ people the way that my parents were not employed. So I founded SIMETRI in 2009 and continue to give back to UCF my time, and soon to be my treasurer as well. I am on Dean Georgiopoulos' advisory board, which was an honor to be asked to do that, since the only graduate class I had with him I actually had to drop due to too much travel. But he gave me a shot anyway, and it's been a lot of fun. Learned a lot and love learning about everything that's going on at UCF. I'm also on the college's, the UCF College of Undergraduate Studies Advisory Board, and try to help there as much as I can. I want to talk a little bit about the ecosystem. Really, that's kind of the topic of my talk, and it has to do with Central Florida, the resources that are available to us, and to anyone either aspiring to find a profession in this area or to create an enterprise. There's something that we call Team Orlando, and it's kind of like an insider name, if you will, but it really means that the government, who has representation from all of the branches of the DoD, have their offices in the Central Florida Research Park adjacent to the university. And they are often embedded in buildings that are also with the university employees, a lot of them in the Institute of Simulation and Training, and just other organizations belonging to the university that are in a collaborative setting to work together with the government. And outside those doors are about 200 plus businesses that work together with those same people to create new technologies and services that are used all over the world by so many people, and represent, I believe it's $6 billion of revenue annually to this region, which is incredible for us. It also is a high-tech cluster, which helps diversify our economy locally and just makes it a great place to live and work. So Team Orlando is something that's very unique. I've been working in other cities, as you saw, throughout the country on the DoD side, and there's no other place like it that I've run into. So that's something that we have to tap into. That means that there are internships available within government offices, academia, and industry, all within the same 2-mile radius, 3-mile radius, and a lot of collaboration that goes on between those areas. The UCF Technology Incubator is in the research park as well, and I have benefited from their support, from the beginning. An incredible place to provide you access to immediate support, as well as introductions to different support that they may not be able to offer but have relationships with. The Small Business Development Center is in the Fashion Square Mall, what is now the Fashion Square Mall, or still is, and they also provide a ton of support. I've benefited from Athena PowerLink, which is with Rollins College, and that's for female entrepreneurs that have a business of more than 2 employees, and I believe more than $1 million in revenue. I have benefited from grants and programming from the Florida High Tech Corridor Council, which I will talk about next. There's a group based out of Rollins called CEO Nexus, and it's basically a roundtable that you belong to with a cohort of other CEOs, where you discuss some of your problems and you collaboratively help each other to solve them. there's actually a branch of that program called Women Entrepreneurs, and it was born out of the Athena program. And so I belong to that, and that has been a wonderful tool and asset. Prospera is an organization meant to help grow Latin American companies in the region, or Hispanic companies, I should say, in the region. And I've gotten an award from them that required me to apply for a grant, which was very beneficial in our marketing strategy. Hispanic Chamber of Commerce of Metro Orlando has also been instrumental, as well as the Orlando Regional Chamber of Commerce, providing content and training and opportunities for our employees to grow and learn across with other colleagues. And then most recently, I've joined the SBA's Emerging Leaders Program that's also provided me an opportunity to grow and meet others. So there are lots of resources, and I didn't list whether these were free or not, but I can tell you just by looking at them, 80% of them, if not more, are free, entirely free. So you graduate from a stellar university, you've got a great idea, you've got great relationships with professors, they have great relationships with possibly government and most likely industry, and you can come up with a concept that you can grow into a business. The university is there to help you grow that concept, to help you grow and incubate your business, help connect you to folks, introduce you to customers, introduce you to professionals that are trusted and vetted already. So if you want a good lawyer, or you want a good banker, or you want a good insurance agent, they're going to connect you with people that are vetted and that are invested in small businesses growing in this community. Sorry about the speed. I'm not sure why it won't go to the next one. Oh, okay. So I wanted to list this not to brag, because that's actually quite the opposite intent. But my growth path for the company has been very fast. And a lot of it has been due not, I mean, obviously blood, sweat, and tears, but I've only had to invest in the business once. And that was because of the unexpected loss of funding on the government side. So, and it wasn't that much money. Other than that, I've started this from scratch on my own, and I've made a very good living, continue to do so. Started the company by myself as a consultant in 2009, worked in the industry, continued to, and then by 2012 had received my first direct contract from the government. In 2014, I was awarded my first phase 1 SBIR, and I can talk about that a little bit. In 2015, I got the phase 2 for that. And things just kind of trickle down after that, because as you start growing your company, it requires you to grow your team. And if you're smart about the types of capabilities that you want to bring to fill in the gaps for you personally, then you could start amplifying your ability to capture more work within the same discipline, or even outside of that. I received a certification in 2016 as a small disadvantaged business by the SBA. That's been helpful in some ways, but I haven't relied on it, which is good. We continue to get, awards as first full and open competitive R&D contract, where I competed with large businesses and consortiums and was able to win that. I was awarded a multiple award, or it's a task order contract. It's I can't remember, definite quantity, definite delivery orders. I can't remember, but you continue to get delivery and task orders on those contracts. Continue to even get another phase 2B SBIR, and all during that I was getting more phase 1 and other phase 2s, and then awarded large service contracts in 2018 and 2019 as a result of the 8A certification, allowing me to compete in those spaces, which I had not been able to do before. And that's grown our business a lot. It's given us more capability, more reach back to talent that's far more sophisticated and very complementary to what we have today in our engineering team. I do want to talk about the SBIRs for a minute, in case no one's familiar. I'm not sure who's all joined us today, but these are grants by the government that are meant to provide a small business the opportunity to develop a new technology or capability. If they are awarded that contract, they get to keep the intellectual property. And if you eventually want to start your own business, you'll know that intellectual property is the key to value and building value in a business for many reasons, even beyond selling the company, but just because it provides you the ability to keep on growing and to enhance your offering. So those are not as difficult to get. They are smaller in value, but they can grow over time and provide you an easy way to get your start in the DoD, or in the federal space, I should say, overall. I would highly recommend that you look for classes that they provide at the incubator. If they're not free, they're probably very affordable. Ms. Caroline Logue at the incubator brings together some of the best experts in these types of proposals and the process. And I myself took that class, and it made a complete difference for me in my ability to be able to get these awards. So I would highly recommend that you look for grants and opportunities that are meant to help spark innovation in our country, and to also help spark the growth of small enterprises that will help keep the supply chain grow within our country versus having to rely on foreign countries and foreign entities. The Florida High Tech Corridor is an organization that is meant to bring together the best of breed of Florida, and that's the University of Central Florida being the best, of course, the University of South Florida, and the University of Florida. And I think, Dr. Georgiopoulos, have they also added the Polytechnic School or not yet? I can't remember if they've added that.
I think we have Paul Sol in the audience, so Paul can let us know.
Oh, not yet, Angela. That's a great idea. I'm taking that on board.
Sure. You probably already have it in the bag. But anyway, it's a great opportunity for a small business or even a business to come to the universities, but hopefully you will come to UCF and you will look for partners that are going to provide you the high-tech expertise, access to that talent, access to their labs and their resources that are definitely going to amplify your capability to be responsive. And they will match funds for whatever funding you're bringing the university. They will provide a matching grant, and it depends on the time of year, I think. And Paul, you could probably talk about this more, but it depends on how many people have been in line before you and been successful, and how much of the pot is left, right? And it probably depends also on the technology and what the end result could mean, not just for the company, but also for the university and for the community at large. So I highly recommend that you all, I didn't know you were going to be here, Paul, that's great, that you look up the Florida High Tech Corridor and look up their matching grants research program. It fosters the ability for us as small businesses to have that bigger company presence amongst all of the other companies, and really helps the university as well, because it makes what they're doing applicable and transitionable into industry.